Hello, everybody. It is Rocco, your boy, coming at you again with another Age of Sigmar video. In this video, we're gonna keep going with the training arc here. The tabletop simulator grand tournament I'm doing in me. We're gonna talk about this a little bit. Leave a like if you want to support the channel. Leave a comment. We've actually had some really nice comments too, going about people talking about their journeys with their city stuff and just their new armies, how they're learning things. How they're doing better than me with my own advice. I love it. Please, spread the word. Share this with your friends, and let's get into the video. Alright, let's recap here. The whole point of this was so that I wanted to put myself back on the map as a Cities of Sigmar player. For a long time, I was one of the go-to people for living cities, and just cities in general. And I haven't been able to get out to a bunch of tournaments because I was either sick or hurt, whatever. It's fine. We're good now. So, with the new book, we were 4 wins, 0 losses before the nerf to cities. And then everyone's like, oh, the nerfs are coming. The nerfs are coming. The nerfs are coming. And then I got into 2 tournaments to try to see just how bad these nerfs are. Alright? And we recap the RTT up in Westminster, Maryland, where I went 1-2. I had 2 close games. My middle game there, my game 2, I lost to the eventual tournament winner, where they beat the snot out of me. Turns out I can't handle a 2-up armor safe with this list, and that's okay. Not every army needs to plow through every other army. But I gotta get a little more creative maybe in how I'm pivoting and what I'm doing here. And then we talked about with Shaolin, my initial game in the Butchers 4 online GT, that I lost to. It was Slaves of Darkness. It was the Knights of the Empty Throne list that had a bajillion Varangard and Be'lakor, where I ate a double turn, I had a shot at being okay, and then I killed myself with a blizzard, with a primal miscast of a blizzard. It was rough, to say the least, but even with all that, we're 5-3, baby. We're doing good. Here we are. This is us. Follow me, camera guy. We got some new stuff to talk about here. What's going on in the land of Rocco, ya boy? Well, Butcher's Game 2 happened. I paired up with a wonderful human being. He was from Germany, a Worlds player, with his Flesh Eater Courts and Morgaunt, if I remember right. A lot of Royal Beast Flayers, lots of ghouls, got some Morbegs, and units of 3, which I'll be honest with you, there is, whether you want 1 unit of 6 or 2 units of 3, Morbeg Knights are really good. They fill slightly different roles, really. The units of 3 are like great harassers. The unit of 6 can really, if your opponent has 1 big shooting unit, you kind of want the unit of 6 to go in there, get the punch in, and then come back as a unit of 3. Listen, the beginning and ending of this is it was limited resources. I thought the scoring got FAQ'd that you still controlled the objective, you just can't score it. So like hold 1, hold 2, like it. I thought I was gonna prevent my opponent from being able to like hold more and to do things, and I took turn 2. I gave away the turn. It's fine. I got turn 2. I got the double turn. I should have given it away. I won the priority for that. Because instead of, I went for a battle tactic because I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to get other battle tactics. My damage output with my Fusiliers, I just rolled bad. It happens. I could have done better. And I saw a move to pin my opponent on basically one of their home objectives and then just deny them the whole board. Because I'm like, well, if I can't kill the full units outright, it doesn't matter if he brings them back from the dead because they're just not going to die, right? And I had a shot with the Pontifex prayers because I got really greedy. And I, as the person that runs a Flesh Eater Court Discord, swore up and down that in the new book, a lot of the ghoul foot heroes, like the Meryl Scroll Herald and let's say the Cardinal and the Execute, like those types of heroes, still only had 4 wounds. They have 5. So I took the turn, honestly, just completely wrong. I didn't even stop to ask questions because I got the FAQ mixed up with another battle plan. That's on me. Screwed myself out of scoring primary scores for basically the rest of the game. And also, I misremembered how many wounds his foot heroes had because I thought what I could do is mortal wound off a bunch of heroes that had the heroic deed points. There goes his recursion to bring the units back. And I'm like, cool. And then I'll just pin him in his home objective that he can't score. And I'll always have more. I'll control 5 objectives to the 1. And then I'm just keep throwing bodies and body blocking him. And that was a mistake on my part that I got punished for wonderfully. Again, it was a very fun game. The guy spoke better English than me. And then I fought tooth and nail for every battle tactic after that. I missed Magical Mayhem by a wound. It was a 6-up ward save that literally saved the hero I was trying to kill. Or the unit, whatever it was. And yeah, that was a lot on me. And I almost scored my grand strategy. I ended up going even with my opponent on how many banners instead of having one more because my grand strategy, again, is have more banners or totems than my opponent. I actually ran into an army that had a bunch with the Morbeg Knights, believe it or not. And he was able to summon on back a unit of Morbegs and run down my Fusiliers in the end with how the priority went. And yeah, that could have been more points, but a highlight of this was I did end up killing his spellcasting Savant General with the mortal wounds from the Pontifex. And outside of me screwing up how to score this, I did generally control 5 objectives throughout the game. And we fought over a couple, but I generally did control the majority of the board. So good plan. Like, my heart was in the right place, but I screwed up. If I give away the turn to him, then he has to take objectives off of me in order to stay in it, instead of me going up in a big lead. And then all of the things constant, I screwed myself, and you live and you learn. I don't play this battle plan often enough, and that's on me. And that's something that, again, to be a tournament player, you need to practice on. And that's all right. How'd my game 3 go? Because right now we're like 5-4. Butcher's game 3, we came back. So in this tournament, again, I lost my first 2 games. We're at the bottom here. Met a lovely Soul Blight player from Canada, where I went first and went against Virkos. I was able to get an early magical dominance and set myself up. This was for Geomantic Pulse, where it doesn't really matter if you go first or second, because like how I'm playing with my castled up army, I'm going to be defensive anyway. My opponent, I outdropped them by a country mile, but they had a very even deployment on how they had zombies. There were 80 zombies, a bunch of dire wolves, Radkar the wolf, Torgilius the chamberman, Basically every bad guy character from Ulfenkarn was there. I played against an Ulfenkarn army. It was really awesome. Um, and this is a battle plan where it's non-traditional scoring. Again, this isn't hold one, hold two, hold more. This is hold one. Do you control the pulse? Do you control the stuff near the pulse? And the scoring can get pretty sideways pretty quickly, as we can see here. What ended up happening is I didn't even keep track of CPs in the app. We had another thing to do that. Don't mind that. With the pulse, my opponent again went second in the second battle round to have the pulse come in on our far right with the idea of everything going to our left. I had my elves deployed in the center. I had some steel helms and wilder corps on my right. I had steel helms on my center left. I had Belthanos and my Pontifex holding my left flank down. Gunners in the middle with my wizards. And my game plan was to run up my opponent's middle of his army and cut it off from each other and focus fire down each half, and then block where he could bring stuff back with the grave sites. And what ended up happening was I couldn't shoot myself free from a unit of zombies. I left like 4 left in front of a unit of elves that were ready to charge and murder all of his heroes and snake me the objective. And again, that happens. Dice happen. And it's how do we bounce back from that? In the last game, again, I'm like, cool, if I'm not going to kill his full units because my dice isn't with me, he can only bring back new units if I kill the unit. I'll just leave him on 1 or 2 models and let him just run around. You know? And that almost worked for me then. And in this case, this honestly worked out for me pretty well as well. He had no banners or totems to speak of in his army build. So I ended up getting my grand strategy very easy. My opponent was able to bring back 3 summonable units, which is his grand strategy of Empire of Corpses. I was able to deny Callous Overlord by having the unit he chose to fight me with. I ended up honestly just attacking other stuff. That my Belthanos was surrounded by a bunch of things, and I could just put the attacks into other stuff. And he pulled out of combat with the Pontifex. I was able to really use my elves, not even for the Tenumbral Blade spell, but using my sorceress to just put -1 to hit on something that was a threat to me. And to also just keep chip mortal wounding heroes down. To just deny more summoning stuff, to be able to pick my fights here. The only... I'd say like one of the highlights for me with this was Belthanos made a very dramatic last stand that ended up being big for me because I lost the far left objective, which is the final objective that was the pulse. And I was able to set up a battle tactic on Raise the Banner because I had to lose the objective. Because it's the battle tactic is, take an objective, and while you're contesting it, you have a unit that has the in your command corps the banner bearer guy, the heralder. So in order for him sacrificing himself, and my opponent just bunkering down on there, I was able to actually get a battle tactic to score because I had no other battle tactics. My shooting was swingy. Another highlight of this game actually was on my right flank. My Wilder Corpse Hunters were able to set up around a wildwood that was near an objective, where they were able to get the extra run on their shooting and then do really good in combat against a bunch of dire wolves and fought off a unit, and then they got summoned back at half strength and fought that to a standstill along with some steel helms who took down a corpse cart. My sorceress was very, very sadly sacrificed for bait and trap because I needed to make charges. Um, it was a good game. It was a fun game. I was able to close out. And we are 1 win, 2 losses in the tournament, and 6-4 overall with new cities, which is a very exciting prospect. And also, on this lovely app here, I'm just gonna say these stats because the app that I use to track my stuff that you're seeing the screenshots of here, Tabletop Battles, does have stats that you could filter out. In my games, for all my games here for cities, I've played 10 games, 6 wins, 4 losses, 60% win rate. That's good. Then we have stats of go first win rate and going second. Most of my games I've gone second. But I have an 80% win rate if I go first with Cities of Sigmar, and a 25% win rate where I go second. So what I'm learning here, one, this isn't a lot of data. This is not a lot of data. Not at all. And when I win games, I usually score about 23 points, victory points. And when I lose, I usually end up getting stuffed at about 12. The losses are bad. The wins are really good. But going back to the going first win rate thing, early speculation here is when I go first, I can get all my defensive buffs up and really get an easy battle tactic and magical dominance. And if my opponent comes onto me, I have the ability to use the orders to countercharge. So I still can fight. I can still return fire if they shoot at me. Cities it can be a very reactive army play style here. And I apparently do better when I have all my buffs up. I know that sounds like, duh, John. Of course, Rocco. But, I've got some stats to back it up. I'm not an Alpha Strike army. I'm playing this as what's called an Alpha Bunker. I've done a video on it before. And it's been a nice change of position because then I can make sure no one goes into my Fusiliers. If they do, I'll have a 3-up save and a 5-up ward for all my human stuff, giving the aura off from the Warforger. And in this last game, too, the Fusiliers, who couldn't in the first 2 games, remembered how to shoot mostly. And except for, even when I say they whiffed and didn't kill the zombies, they still killed 15 zombies out of 40-something shots. Really, it was my wound roll came back for me because I missed 20 of my 42 shots on my hit roll. I was hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s with all my buffs up. But this game, they killed 600 points of stuff. They did it. Belthanos held on and tanked for forever. The Pontifex did what she needed to do. Her mortal wounds actually ended up killing Radikar. It messed up Torgilius. The list worked. And it's just, I didn't have to go into a 2+ armor save. So we'll see what my next round is for this. Because we have other things on the horizon as well. Adepticon! As you see here is some pictures of hobby and a practice game that I had with my old world. So Adepticon's coming up again. I'm still repping the Pants Mafia. My gaming club where I'm the only one not local. Where I am doing 2 events this year at Adepticon out in Chicago, the Chicago area, Schlombach or whatever it is in Illinois. If you see me, say hi. Where I am doing an Old World tournament, a doubles tournament for it on that Friday, and then that Saturday and Sunday, I'm doing the marquee teams Age of Sigmar tournament. I will be playing not my beloved Wood Elves, but my Empire stuff. And this is a picture I had from a practice game, excuse me, with a buddy of mine who I've been meaning to play for forever, where he had his Bretonians that are now much more painted. Where I was able to, again, see what my Empire stuff can do. It's all my old cities things that I had painted. I repainted my artillery pieces, and I've got my little, you don't see pictured here, is where those Pegasus Knights are on the right of the picture, of the big picture, were my, the archers that are in my bottom left here of this slide, who are my human scouts that died nobly to the cause. They actually shot a Pegasus Knight dead with a firing flea and then got run down unceremoniously. And then also to the left of the picture, it's not pictured in the battle. I had a Hellblaster volley gun as well. My army here, it's 1,250 points. It's basically the old artillery train of Nuln, where I've got the mortar, a great cannon, the Hellblaster. I've got a wizard on foot. I've got a Lector of Sigmar that's pictured there. It's the Silver Tower warrior priest that never got into AOS and got a war scroll. So I'm using him there because he's awesome, and I painted him really good. And he won 3 challenges. He ended up beating a battle standard bearing paladin, a damsel, made her in distress, and then a knight unit champion. And my wizard was really good at what he did. And then I also gave a little shout out. You see in the top right corner here, you're like, Rocco, what's that teal dude? That looks like a Skyfire. But why does he have a crossbow? As kind of a little teaser to the art project that I've been doing with the rest of my hobbying, besides rebasing all my Empire stuff from rounds to squares, is the team theme for the Pants Mafia is Chaos Orcs, where we have each made 1,000-point Orc army that has fallen to chaos. So I'm actually playing as Tzeentch, and I converted up every frickin' model and painted so much stuff, and I have so many acolytes. It turns out Cruel Boys and Tzeentch models kind of go hand in hand, which is really cool. And I couldn't pass up the conversion of the Cruel Boys crossbowmen and throwing them on discs of Tzeentch. I don't even think they're that good in game, but they get the job done at small points games. And for my practice games with that, I'm excited. So that's what's next for me. And I know this is late. I know Happy St. Patrick's Day. I've been busy, unfortunately. This is probably going to come out on Monday night instead of my normal Sunday late night drops I've been doing. But yeah, thank you for watching. And the next video after this hopefully will be an Adepticon video. Talking about it with the team. Seeing how we did. Did we do better than last year? And last year, for the teams event, we got 13th overall for like battle score. And then our hobby scores actually kind of knocked us down to a 17th overall because there's just such good hobby. But this year, we are actually bringing a display board that we made for the armies, and everything is themed together. And I even have a little bird mask I'm going to be wearing too. It's going to be silly. It's going to be fun. And, you know, be nice. Roll some dice. Have a good night, everybody. Good day wherever you are. And see you next time. Bye.